Good morning and welcome to my day 2 Leakycon vlog. It is almost 9 in the morning, so I'm heading to the convention. So I thought I would show you my little outfit for today. So first here I have my badge, of course. I also have my time turner that I got yesterday. And then my badge also has my head girl pin, which I saw Professor Sprout cosplay yesterday and she loved it. And I have my Hufflepuff scarf and just a black t-shirt dress. And then black tennis shoes with my Hufflepuff socks. It's a Hufflepuff day. Okay, so it is about 9:30 a.m. and I just got to the convention center. I was able to park in the same parking garage. I'm so excited because it's right underneath the convention center. So if I need to run anything out to my car, like, it's right here. I think the first thing I have is at 10:15 there's going to be a Donuts and Strudel panel with Allison Sudol and Dan Vogler, which is Queenie and Jacob, and I'm so excited. I have I think I have 2 photographs today. I think I have one with Dan and one with Devin Murray. I think those are it, so I'll have to check to make sure, but there's gonna be a lot of fun panels, so let's go.
Happy Saturday morning, Leakycon. How are we doing? We're surviving. We're ready for another fun day? Well, we could not be more excited about this next panel. They are some of our favorite new additions to the Harry Potter world, and so I'll just get right to it. Please welcome Mr. Dan Vogler.
Children of the earth, welcome from all 4 corners of the universe, apparently. My gosh.
At least Texas.
That's crazy.
Yes.
You've seen her all weekend, Miss Allison Sudol.
Stars above, there's a lot. Hey, hi. Thank you so much for waiting so early. I heard some of you were here since 7:30. Who was here at 7:30? Wow. Thank you.
Wow. That's
You're all
crazy.
staying in my hotel, aren't you? You were all on the line at the coffee shop. The hell, I should go to the coffee shop now.
It's the time. It's the time, yeah.
So what's really interesting to me is that you guys have been part of now this global phenomenon with the premieres and the thousands of people cheering when you get out of the cars, and yet you're still both amazed and humbled, it seems, by this incredible crowd. So
I know.
what is it? What is it that you think is
love her.
keeping it so real for you?
Oh, I mean, life keeps it pretty real. I have a puppy. Yeah, thank you. So, like, you know, I mean, she pooped in the middle of the lobby of the hotel. That keeps it pretty real. That's my dog. right on the marble floor.
But the reason quite found, just like that.
Yeah.
What did they do? Did they just move it out?
They did. I mean, like, no, I had a bag.
It's totally fine. It's
No,
totally fine.
I had a bag. I'm a responsible pet owner. You know, it's surreal.
But you both expressed a little bit of nerves for greeting a crowd like this, and that was surprising to me.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people here. And it's beautiful. It's all, and you know, it's all Harry Potter themed, and it's so. I mean, this is it. Right? And you see the fandom, and it's fast, and it's lovely. It's lovely, isn't it?
It's really lovely.
Yeah.
I mean, I always get nervous before I go on stage. Like,
He's giving it all up. He's going to work at the Leaky College.
Exactly. Oh, I didn't even catch that yesterday. I was so nervous.
didn't
I didn't even know it was a giant cauldron.
Yes.
Yep.
Made from the metal of the Liberty Bell.
Rick Cage is our next guest.
That would be crazy.
Oh. Must. Save Ginny Weasley. All right. So-
He said Nick Cage.
Yes.
So I want to take it back to the beginning of this process for both of you.
Cool.
Can you go through the casting process for Fantastic Beasts?
You got casted first.
I got casted first. Well, not actually, no, not technically.
Really?
Well, I mean, maybe a few days, but
So yeah, technically.
well, technically. Yeah, it's like if we're twins and I'm the one that came out first, but it was kind of a head start. Awkward twins. That's really weird. Yeah.
It's like the movie Twins.
Yeah.
Good genes.
Does that mean I'm Arnold Schwarzenegger? Naturally. No, I auditioned. I didn't even actually think that I was auditioning for the Potter verse. I just was told by this extraordinary casting director, Fiona Weir, who was in London. She's like, there's this project, and it's the people that did Harry Potter, and I'm going to need you to sign an NDA. And I said, okay, and what is this about? And then she said it was about witches, and I thought it was about, like, Salem, you know? and then she told me about this character, Queenie, and I fell in love with her and her empathy and her warmth, and anyway, like, came back the next day and basically felt like I just ruined the audition. I was like, I knew by this time that it was for the Potterverse, and then I started to lose my mind because I'm a big Potter fan. And then I thought I should never act again after that audition. And then a few weeks later, got a call that there was going to be a screen test in New York, and I didn't know what that was. And it turns out that what it was like a process of, like, we were all in a hotel room, and then they would bring us in, and they would have us have chemistry reads with all the other actors, but Dan wasn't there yet. Anyway, so that was 2 days in a hotel, and then went to England. They still weren't sure about me.
But that was like my favorite story, is the one where you and Catherine are braiding each other's hair.
Oh yeah, I mean that was I think I told that yesterday. I don't know if anybody's welcome back. I'm like one of those people that tells the same story.
Right, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'll tell it in my panel. Anyone wants to know.
Thank you, Dan. But anyway, so they brought me to England, and they tried like 1,000 wigs on me to see if I could be Queenie, basically. And in that process, the very last day of my screen testing, when I didn't know that I had the role yet, they brought you in. And you were wearing like gloves, you were wearing like cut-off gloves, and you had like crazy beard. You looked like a furry like hobbit. But like, you were magical, you were really wonderful and so charming. And well, it was covered with hair. There was like long hair on the head, there was hair on the face, and all I could see were these like eyes.
I'm short and I have gigantic feet.
but like the hands tied up. Yeah, you were great. And
Thanks.
the chemistry was there. That was a long story. Your turn.
Oh, man. It wasn't that long.
It was. It felt long.
Oh, I remember my screen test, and you were there, and you were all in black.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and you had black hair.
Yeah.
And I met you, and I thought you looked like BB Newirth. You guys know who that is? She looked like BB Newirth from like Cheers days. And I was like, holy shenanigans. I was, right away I was just like, man, this is a lovely looking individual. And then also met Eddie that day for a screen test. And what I noticed about him, that he was like 9 feet tall. And he was so lovely, wasn't he? He was just like, I was nervous as you are right now, and I really want this to work as much as you do.
This is so cute. I love Eddie.
And then just the last time I saw him was, as Stephen Hawking. So, that was such a cool thing. I had this costume I put together that I kept with me from the first audition all the way through the screen test until David Yates was like, okay, no more hats. And take off the fingerless gloves, Dad. Because I thought, that's like Chaplin era.
Oh gosh.
Kind of thing. That's
It was more tramp than Hobbit. I'm sorry I said Hobbit.
That's
I'm gonna forever. I love Tolkien, I do, but I'm sorry.
It's okay. That shall pass.
Good one.
Wait. Wrong franchise. So I had this costume. That put me right in character. But it was obviously wrong. It was wrong.
Always helpful. That was a really good David Yates impression.
At the department store, I had a stomach flu, and it was that department store scene, which is now really short, but where we're all trying to catch the demigods, and then Newt's just try not to be predictable. And anyways, behind the scenes, the whole thing was decorated for Christmas, and it was so beautiful. And Dan and I were a little bit loopy because it had been we're in Liverpool and super tired, and so we started singing Christmas carols non-stop. Probably annoying to other people at a certain point, but we were having such a good time.
Dancing.
Oh, dancing. Oh, that's not very funny. That wasn't a funny story. It was supposed to be a funny story. It's just
How much?
story.
There's so much in that. It's hysterical because so much of that scene was shot. We destroyed Macy's department store, and none of it made it into the movie.
You were in an actual Macy's in Liverpool?
Well,
I know.
It was a department store, but they made it
Some
to
sort of
look like
department
1920s Macy's.
Sure.
I don't know if it was actually Macy's, but the scene
Probably not in
is.
Liverpool.
The scene is.
I don't think Macy's is in. It was.
No.
It was it was
Right.
just an old building, but they
Right.
completely dressed it. I actually don't even think it was a department store period. I think that they've dressed it
Like a warehouse?
the
Jeez.
set designer.
And you guys just smashed
Destroy them.
He did. Yeah.
Yeah, so the scene you can see the DVD extras, there's a scene when the demigod is invisible, he's running around the apartment, he's smashing it and stuff, and then I'm like, Newt, I got him, and he's running right at me, I'm like, I think I'm gonna catch him. I catch him, and I grab his tail, and then there's this just invisible munchkin dragging me through the whole department store. And that was probably the most fun I had, just being in this the wire, with the harness just being dragged around, smashing into things in the apartment. And then there was a lovely moment that never made it in there either, which was, the demigod guys, he's all flipped out. And he's we're surrounding him. He's like, oh my God, what do I do? And he freaks out. The only person he really thinks he can go to is Jacob. Because he sees that same nice guy thing. Nice guy. And then there's this lovely and then you see later, he's on my back, but there's that moment where the demigod is like, it's like a little chimpanzee or something. I'm like, it's okay, buddy, it's okay. That never made it in.
But it was fun.
It was, yeah, there's, you know, so many, each scene has so many beautiful little JK written delightful bits, you know, that you hope make it into, like the best makes it into the film, and you hope the other stuff makes it onto the DVD extras because it was just so delightful. Love that scene, same scene, the hat.
Oh yeah.
Where
We're talking about all these things, and you're like, what?
getting dragged.
Is that on DVD extras?
I think it is. I'm getting dragged. They all know it. I get dragged and I fly into the hat racks.
Yeah.
You come up and you're like, you okay? And I put the hat on, I'm just like, I'm fine.
So debonair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never made it in.
Take a smooth character though.
Our next panel this morning is The Antagonists, and I have some very special guests joining me this morning. We're gonna keep it a surprise.
Oh my gosh.
Welcome, welcome. I am always the one that's like, come on. Jesus, don't be shy. Hey guys, let's go down the line and introduce ourselves. Who do we have here with us this morning?
Hello, I'm Chris Rankin, Percy Weasley.
I'm Scarlett Van from Pansy Parkinson.
I'm Lewis Cordice and I play Blades of Meeting.
I'm Stan Edlowski and I play Hermione. It's actually Crumb. Wonderful, and I'm Brad Osrodas, I do programming for Mischief. I noticed today that we have a Gryffindor, 2 Slytherins, and a member of Durmstrang here on the stage with us. And so my first question to pose to you all is, we know which houses your characters belong to, but who do you as individuals identify with for the houses?
I'll jump in there. So I've done the test and I come back as a Gryffindor. I've had the sorting hat put on me and again it was Gryffindor. So I'm officially a Gryffindor.
So I was Slytherin. But I don't know whether it's because when I did it, I feel like I was really willing myself to be Slytherin. So I don't know if I took it now if I would still be that, but I'd like to think I would be.
I'm a Ravenclaw. Which I think is quite apt. I'm that guy you want on your pub quiz team.
I've done the test too, and it put me into Slytherin. So we actually are majority Slytherin here on the stage because I am as well, so represent. So, the next thing I wanted to ask you all is, what did you know about your characters, really, kind of, if anything, going into the role? Sort of, what did they tell you? What were you kind of expecting going in, whether to your casting or even to start filming?
Well, to be honest with you, when I had started the casting process, they really didn't tell you very much. Everything was really top secret, and they didn't want to let too much out. And it wasn't until I was doing my test, that was with Tom, that I thought there were going to be 2 other girls there, and I found out that I was the only girl too. So then I was super nervous, and like, oh my god, is someone else going to come in later? Like, I don't know how this works. And it was actually a really cool process, and he was wonderful to work with, and yeah, I had a lot of fun, and then I found out I got it a few weeks later, and by the September I started, I think it was grade 10 or 11, I was still in school, and then I started musical at Hogwarts too. Great timing.
Yeah.
No, so when casting, I was told that Blaze is a very mysterious character. You could never, you would never know if he liked you. You would never know what he was thinking. When going into the audition, just to try and be as mysterious as you could be, which I was like, okay, let's go for it. And I think I was told a little bit about my character's mum, very similar to a Black Widow. Had a way for rich men. It seemed to get their possessions after they mysteriously died, and I think there was quite a few. So yeah, it was quite interesting when going to the audition.
Stan, tell us that.
Well, I've been trying to think how to put this. The thing is, they were expecting me to know who Crumb was. But the truth is, I had no idea who Crumb or what Harry Potter was. I hadn't even read the books, alright? I was at school, and I literally bumped into one of the casting agents of the film, and that's how it all started with me. So, I got familiar with my character after I was called into the studios to get the body cast for the part with the shark, where obviously now I know what happens, but back then everyone was really excited saying, oh, this is Crumb, turning into a shark, saving Hermione, and I was just nodding as if I was something. So I thought, I might as well just get the book and read and see what I've got myself into. So I got the book, I read it, and I was like, damn man, this is serious. That's how it happened with me.
So we were talking about this a little bit earlier backstage, but there actually seems to be a little bit of debate about whether or not you even consider your characters to be antagonists. So let's go down the line.
Personally, yeah. I mean, he's not a bad guy. Wow. He just gets it a bit wrong. Really? I mean, I can talk about this for days, so don't start me. But yeah, okay. Like the really short version of it is that I think Percy isn't anywhere near as intelligent as everyone seems to assume he is, because he's always got his head in a book and he's always doing his homework. And I think that's actually because he's not as clever as like Bill and Charlie, who are sort of the people he's always been compared to when he was a kid, because they're the ones above him. So he's always had to sort of work that extra bit harder to be as good as his brothers and Ginny, his sister. So I don't think he's as bad as everyone makes him out to be. He's just very keen to do as well as he can, and he kind of goes about that the wrong way. But he's not bad. He's not bad. He just thinks that. Thank you. One person.
That's really difficult.
There was so many. There was so many. I think for me it was the room of requirement, just the whole scene. Just the set was unreal. I remember having to do about a month's worth of stunt training before actually being allowed to go on set to film the scenes that we needed to film. I'll never forget that Tom and I were, on top of the table pretending that we were having to be rescued. I think it was one of the scariest scenes, the scariest scene I've ever filmed, but at the same time the most exciting scene, because we're up there, and I'm not even exaggerating, the table was literally as high as the ceiling, probably a little bit higher. And we're strapped in, but I'll never forget, we get up there and they're like, right, Lewis, Tom, we need you to, really look scared. And we're up and we're like, we ain't got to act this scene. When it comes to heights, I think the only way that I can describe it is like, in the UK we've got a ride called the Detonator at Thorpe Park, which literally takes you up and it drops you. You don't know when you're going to drop. And that was exactly that scene. They're like, right, we're not going to tell you when it's going to drop. Just know that we're filming. So we stood there and we're like, okay. And next thing, and you literally grab it for your life. So that scene for me, the room of requirement, and being rescued by Ron, which is pretty cool.
I imagine it must have been super gratifying to see what the final scene looked like that.
Yeah, it was. I think It was a funny thing because I remember having to do the scene where I get rescued, and I've done my scene, I'm waiting for Tom to come in to do his scene where obviously Harry rescues him, and they bring in a stunt double. Where's my double? So yeah, that was quite interesting to see. Obviously a stunt double, and I just finished doing the scene before, so I didn't realise how dangerous it was, but it was pretty dangerous. But that was something that I'll never forget.
Hello. I am Mallory Rubin.
I'm Jason Concepcion.
We co-host Binge Mode Harry Potter for The Ringer. And we are delighted, absolutely delighted to be here today to talk about Errol and Cauldron Bottoms with Chris Rankin. You know him as Percy Weasley. You know him as Weatherby.
What's going on? Is Starkey on after us? Why are there so many people here?
That's for you, Weatherby.
Weatherby.
We have Perio and Barty Crouch, and he had them all show up today to talk to you about your passions for the Ministry of Magic.
Well, June 2004. I'll try and be interesting.
Before we get to the Ministry and your very successful career as a politician, we wanted to go back to the beginning. You've probably told the origin story of becoming Percy Weasley more times than Percy Weasley talked about Cauldron Bottoms, and yet we're gonna ask you to do it one more time. So on your website, you have these wonderful FAQ posts where you talk about some of these questions that people have asked you so many times. Check out this website; it's wonderful.
Chris Rankin about
Hashtag FAQ off.
Chris Rankin about CEO.UK.
And one of the things that you explore on there is how, as a 16-year-old, you sent in your letter to pursue the role of Percy, and that you sort of went through this checklist in your mind when thinking about what character to go after. Ron, okay, I'm too old. Harry, everybody's going to be going for that.
Yeah.
Twins, definitely not.
Just one of me. And I'm not Lindsay Lohan, so I can't do that whole parent trap.
Was the choice to pursue Percy strictly a process of elimination, or was there something about the character that you were truly drawn to?
If I'm honest, it was simply a process of what part am I most likely to get.
Right.
But that in itself is quite a Percy thing.
Yes,
I think.
very practical.
I worked out the best way to achieve success and gone with it. Yeah, no, honestly, it was like a friend of mine who I went to youth theatre with, who was also ginger and was like 2 years younger than me, so I think he was like 14 and I was 16 at the time, and he was dead set, he was going to write into this thing and apply for Ron, and he was like, wouldn't it be really cool if we were brothers? So there was a kind of thought process that went, if we're going to kind of not apply together, but if we're both going to go for this and he wants Ron, then the only one that I could do is Percy. And yeah, it fits. I was 6, I was the right age for Percy. I was a prefect at school and I was ginger, so it kind of seemed like a naturally obvious choice to make. But also he felt like the only other person that nobody would want to play. I mean, I was like, no, nobody's going to want Percy. Like, I'd stand the most chance of getting him.
Well, it took you 3 to 4 minutes to mention that you were a school prefect, and Percy would have done it immediately, so...
Also on your website, you talk about how they call you in, you audition for the part, and part of that process was improvising a scene with the fat lady. The fat lady's not letting you in.
Yeah.
What was that like? How did you find the character through the improv? And was improv a part of the process at all as you went forward into making these films?
Improv terrifies me. I'm not going to lie. I'm sounding more like Percy by the minute, but I like to know what's going on, alright? I'm quite organised. Believe it or not, I am quite organised. I like to have everything planned. And they sent through a script, which was the script of Percy taking the first years to the doing the whole mind the staircases and password, Draconis, all that stuff. And in my second audition, which is my second of 2 auditions, so I had one with just the casting director, and then one with the casting director, Janet Hutchinson, and Chris Columbus, and David Heyman, and everyone, like all of the important people. And in that one, when we got to the Kappa Draconis bit, Chris Columbus was reading in the lines for everyone else. So we had Peeves the Poltergeist, and then we had the Fat Lady. And he went, password? In this really weird British accent. The password? Kappa Draconis. And he went, no, I'm afraid the password's changed. And in my little brain at the time, because I had no idea what was going on. Like, I was 16, I'd never auditioned for...
Sprung it on.
Like, I'd done youth theatre and high school shows, and, like, all I had to do was sing a song, and that was it. And that was okay. But this was different. This was, like, in a room with strangers and foreigners that I didn't know, and it was a whole new process. And he just went, no, it's changed. And my little brain went, this isn't the script. What happens now? What do you do now? And I honestly, I don't quite know how my brain got there, but I went, password can't change. I said, the password's changed. Dumbledore would have informed me if the password had changed. And honestly, I was like, oh my god. When you're watching this all happen from like somewhere behind you, you're like, where did you even think of that?
Yeah.
Like nothing went through my brain apart from these words that just came out of my face. And I thought, yes, Dumbledore would have informed me if that was yes.
Okay, so I'm checking in because I'm sitting in my car right now, and it's about 6 p.m. and all I have left today is there is the Esther Earl ball at 8 p.m. so I'm gonna go check that out. So I don't want to pay for parking again, so I'm just gonna sit in my car for 2 hours, but that's okay. Today was a very eventful day. Let me just like go through my camera roll and tell you what happened, because oh wow, it was unbelievable. So the first panel of the day was the Donuts and Strudel panel with Allison Sudol and Dan Fogler, aka Queenie and Jacob from Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. And they were so awesome. Like, the chemistry is not just on screen, like they're great friends too, so that was awesome. But in all of the panels, they have fans come up and ask questions at the end. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna line up because I want to talk to them, and I'm gonna line up and ask a question. So of course there was a long line. We get in line and we're waiting for a while, and some questions take longer than others. And then it comes down to this girl in front of me and then me. And they were like, okay, we're only just gonna ask one more question. That's it. We only have time for one more question, which means they would have cut me off. So I literally go, and I looked so upset, and they looked at me and they go, okay, we'll allow 2 more questions. So I was able to ask a question, and not only that, I was the very last person to ask a question, and the panel ended after that. So I basically closed out the panel with my question. So I asked them what was the most challenging scene that each of them filmed. So I'll probably upload a whole separate video with their answer and me standing there talking to them, because I had a lovely friend that I met yesterday. Her name's Emily, and she sat in the second row, and so she was able to record all of it for me, and she sent it to me, which was just so amazing. I'm so happy because I have that memory forever. I also had people where I was sitting record on my camera, so I also have that footage, and it's great and wonderful. So I'll probably upload a separate video all about the question and their answers to that question. So that was incredible, and I can't believe that happened. I like went into shock. So after Allison and Dan's panel was the antagonist panel. So the actors that were there were the people who played Victor Crumb, Blaze Zabini, Pansy Parkinson, and Percy Weasley. So that was really, really cool to see them. That was the first time I had seen Stan, who plays Victor Crumb, and his accent is gorgeous, by the way. He's gorgeous. But it was just so cool hearing him speak about it, because I haven't heard a lot from him because he's only in Goblet of Fire, which is a good one to be in because the tournament and the games and stuff. After that, I took some pictures with some more cosplayers. Look at this picture of Snape. Like, that guy went all out. Like, he had props, he had different poses for everyone. It was great. And then after that, oh yeah, I completely forgot about like the autographs and signings I went to. So the first signing I went to was with, or not signing, the first photograph session I went to was with Devin Murray, and I was so excited to meet him. He had tweeted me Thursday and I told him I was gonna meet him, and he was like, I hope you have a great weekend, I'm looking forward to meeting you. I was like, are we getting married yet? Is this official? So when I met him, I told him, I was like, you tweeted me the other day and now we get to meet, so it's official. And he was like, oh, that's awesome. So like photograph sessions are very, very quick. So we took a picture and here it is. It's very glary in here, but you can get a glimpse. Look at that cute couple. And then after that, a little bit later, I had another photograph session, and this one was with Dan Fogler. Look how awesome he is. Wow, you can see my speedometer reflection in that. That's fun. But I got to tell him that I love him in Fantastic Beasts, obviously, and I love him in The Goldbergs, because that's how I first knew Dan Fogler. And I also got to tell him my little sister is a big fan of him and that he is her favorite character, because I know she would be upset if I didn't. And she was really glad when I told her I said that and that he said hi. And then after that, I randomly got autograph tickets for Devin Murray, because if we're gonna get married, I might as well show my face to him more than once so he can like know who I am. So I got our picture signed and it just says Keely Joe, believe in magic, Devin Murray. And it was funny. So I always make a joke about how my name has so many E's in it because it has 3 E's in my first name alone. And so I'm just like an excessive amount of E's for an excessive person. And so when he was trying to spell my name, he was like, oh shoot, you have a lot of E's in your name. And I was like, tell me about it, Devin. I've been living for 22 years with 3 E's in my name. But, and I got to tell him how hearing about him talk about his animals was really cool, because he has a lot of animals, a lot of horses, and he's very proud of them. That was fun. I also told him my last name was Irish, so like, we're a good couple. But that, oh yeah, and one more panel after that. After the signing, I went to the last panel of the day, which, let me tell you the title of it on the schedule, because it is so funny and just, their titles here are so clever. So that one was called, We Promise This Is Not a Lecture on Cauldron Bottoms, a Conversation with Chris Rankin. So it was a panel with Chris Rankin, who plays Percy Weasley, and he is so funny and just charming, and every so often he would say lines in Percy's voice, and it was hilarious. But yeah, that was super cool. So like I said, I'm just waiting for the ball, gonna check that out. I probably won't stay long, I'm so tired. So hopefully 8 o'clock comes here fast, but we'll see. And yeah, it's been a great day. Okay, so it's like a little past 10 p.m. now, and wow, the lighting is great in a parking garage. This is good. But yeah, I just got done with the Esther Earl ball, and it's really cool because Esther Earl, she wrote the book The Star Won't Go Out, and that book is the reason that I heard of Leakycon in the first place. And I read it a few years ago, and ever since then I wanted to come to Leakycon. And so it's kind of like come full circle, and like I met up with some people I met yesterday and we hung out the whole time, so that was a lot of fun. I'm out of breath from dancing and my throat hurts from screaming and I scratched my neck, but like, you know, it's fine. But yeah, it was way more fun than I thought it was gonna be. And then towards the end I was leaving and we looked over and like Blaze, Zabini, Pansy Parkinson, and Percy Weasley are just chilling, dancing, hanging out. And so like we stood by them and just like almost died because we were freaking out. And so basically I danced with some Harry Potter actors. It's fine. Also, Olive Starkid was there, so like everyone was just like screaming, freaking out. It was so much fun. It was really awesome. But now I'm going to head home, or like head to my cousin's house for the night, and get some good sleep for day 3 tomorrow. Tomorrow should be a shorter day, but I'm meeting Chris Rankin, so I'm really excited. But yeah, that's it for day 2. I'm gonna have so much footage because all these panels and stuff. It's gonna be a long vlog, but if you've stayed to the end, thank you so much. But yeah, thanks for watching day 2, and I'll see you for day 3. Bye!